TalkTainmentRadio.com.
We give you a reason to come.
The world's greatest radio.
We give you a reason to stay.
Radio the way it should be heard.
You got the power.
The views and opinions expressed are those of the host and guests and not necessarily those of TalkTainmentRadio.com, 3MR Production, its ownership, management, or staff.
We've got the power.
This is The Compensatory Concept with Mr. Neely Fuller, heard exclusively on TalkTainmentRadio.com, the world's greatest radio. Radio the way it should be heard. And now, Mr. Neely Fuller.
If you do not understand white supremacy, which is racism, what it is and how it works, everything else that you understand will only confuse you. Only confuse you. Only confuse you.
Go ahead. Make my day.
This is The Compensatory Concept with Mr. Neely Fuller Jr., heard exclusively on TalkTainmentRadio.com, radio the way it should be heard, the world's greatest radio. I'm Brother K. My goodness gracious sakes alive. This broadcast is brought to you by the King Arts Complex, located at 867 Mount Vernon Avenue in Columbus, Ohio. Call today to make your next event a special one. Historical space and room rentals always in your budget. Now, if you want more information, call 614-645-KING. That's 614-645-KING. That's 645-KING. All right, you're in touch with Compensatory Concept. And, of course, joining me every week at this time, 10 a.m., live from Washington, D.C., of course, is Mr. Neely Fuller Jr. Mr. Fuller, how are you, sir?
I'm still learning.
All right, Mr. Fuller, let's talk about your books. Your first one, I believe, came out in 1969, and the latest edition, I believe, was around 2010 or 2011. Can you give folk the names of both and where they can get them? Mr. Fuller.
Well, the first pages came out in about 1957.
57, okay.
Right. And, the title of the book, I'll say the subtitle, which is more explicit, a textbook workbook for thought, speech, and or action for victims of racism. And, of course, racism is explained and defined as being the system of white supremacy. And the basic book gives some suggestions. First of all, it gives an overview of what white supremacy is and how it works, and then some suggestions that are directed to the individual person about what each individual person can do each and every day to combat racism, or at least try to find a way to work through it in the most constructive manner and get the most constructive results as an individual person in every area of activity: economics, education, entertainment, labor, law, politics, religion, sex, and war. And how that means that what an individual does in his or her interaction both with white people and with non-white people throughout the known universe. And it's just some basic suggestions. It can't make detailed suggestions for everything, every eventuality, but it gives some guidance, in particular in the way people should or should not go about interacting with each other on a minute-to-minute basis, whether they're on the job or in the streets or wherever, and how they should use their time and energy overall. And the second book, which is just an addition to the first book, is a word guide that gives some direction about how words are used, because in the system of racism is held together by, you might say, some glue that is called words. The use of words, how they are used and how they are not used. And both the basic book and the word guide, the addition to it, can be ordered by punching up on the computer the word tiny, TINY, .cc/forward, then the word fuller in capital letters. That's tiny.cc/forward and the word fuller. And what you should get is a brief description of both the basic book and the word guide and an order form for getting the books.
All right. So that means that you can get the books. Certain developments happened, of course, this past week in the Trayvon Martin case. And I'm going to play a little excerpt. His lawyers, the lawyers for George Zimmerman, quit. And I wanted to give folk a kind of an update on what happened there and why those lawyers decided to call it quits. It's very interesting. Now, this man is supposed to have had a website. Websites can be very tricky. I mean, you don't know whether or not that's his website. You just don't know. But pay attention to this right quick.
Lawyers have pulled out of the case. This does not speak well of George Zimmerman's defense, obviously. They say that they have not been able to contact him in days. They've sent emails, text messages. They know where he is, but he won't return their calls. Now, I don't think it's just because he won't return their calls. When you read into the story, you find out that, in fact, he has talked to Sean Hannity. I saw that in a clip that Hannity talked about. He said, "Oh, it's off the record. I can't tell you." And I thought, what a curious thing for Zimmerman to call Hannity. And it turns out he's not even calling his own defense attorneys. He set up his own website without consulting with his attorneys, apparently. That's the one where he put up the picture of the racist graffiti at a university saying, "Long live Zimmerman." And then he had to take it off. He is apparently called even prosecutors, and they think he's erratic. They don't know what he's doing. But my sense of it, Anna, is that they're frustrated with the case.
I think they're frustrated with the case, and also Zimmerman is probably frustrated because keep in mind he's been in hiding. I'm sure that he's been in hiding because his lawyers have advised him to be in hiding, and he contacted Sean Hannity probably because he thought maybe it's a good idea to try to get my side of the story out there. Right now his lawyers have tried to get his side of the story out there, but he's isolated right now. He's probably listening to everything that's being said about him, and he's dying to share his point of view.
Right, and probably those attorneys, and the two guys that dropped out are Craig Sonner and Hal Uhrig. They're probably telling him, don't do it, one, because it's the cautious way to go, and number two, probably because they've heard his story and thought, that's not the story you want to tell on national television.
Now, Mr. Fuller, let's talk for a minute about there are two groups of people who are emerging in this election. One could say two groups of white people, maybe three, but like there are different groups of black people. At least the labels have been attached to different groups of black people. There, this kind of black person, that kind of black person, et cetera, et cetera. Same thing with white people. But you always hear the terms liberal and conservative. We just saw where Rick Santorum, for example, dropped out yesterday of the campaign. He's considered a conservative. Newt Gingrich is considered a conservative. Mitt Romney is considered somewhere between a moderate and a conservative. Barack Obama is considered a liberal. And then you have those who are considered radical. So you got maybe four classifications. You got radical, moderate, liberal, conservative. Now, as I listen to what is considered a liberal kind of presentation, I'm kind of stuck. And I know in your book, The Word Guide, you talk about these terms. I want to walk through what each one of these terms mean, because you've got people who are classified as white who are defending Zimmerman, yet you've got people who are classified as white who are calling him out and opposing him. And so I think it's a little confusing, or maybe we have misunderstood that just because a person happens to be a certain color does not mean that they're good, or does not mean that they're bad. They're standing up for what is right regardless. Is that the way we should interpret it, or is this, or how should we read this conservative liberal kind of thing? Is this a con game, confusing black people, or is there really a substantial difference Because it seems like if you're liberal, a lot of black folks go over there thinking that they're going to advance and do better. And some have. I mean, so there's evidence that some have, such as Barack Obama, such as Oprah Winfrey, such as Bill Cosby. They have advanced and done better. Then there's that conservative group over there where you don't see as many. You see some, like the Armstrong guy and some others, whose name, Colin Powell maybe, whose names have emerged. The lady that used to be National Security and became Secretary of State, Condoleezza Rice. And so you see Condoleezza Rice. So you see on both sides. But I want to have a down-home discussion about what is a moderate, what is a radical, what is a liberal, and what is a conservative. What does the code say? Let's start with liberal. What does the code say a liberal is?
Well, the basic approach is to ask the person who uses the term if a person identifies someone else, or if the person identifies him or herself as a liberal, then that person should be able to explain what that means in all of the 9 basic areas of activity: economics, education, entertainment, labor, law, politics, religion, sex, and war. In other words, that person is supposed to say, well, in the area of economics, I'm a liberal. And I'm a liberal, meaning in economics, the use of time and energy and the way you spend money and the way you handle this and handle that. Well, I'm liberal by doing this and doing that or doing the other. And then when you move to education, well, when it comes to education, I'm a liberal in this way. And then be able to enumerate so that a person can understand in each area of activity what that person means when that person says that he or she is liberal. And the same thing when it comes to if a person says, well, I'm a radical, or I'm an extremist, or I'm a conservative. Whatever it is that the words that the person is using, say, please explain exactly what you mean, not what the person down the street means, not what you hear on television, but what do you mean, ma'am? What do you mean, sir, when you say that you are these things, or that somebody else is a conservative, or a liberal, or an extremist, or a radical? Explain what you mean so that you get understanding, because in the system of white supremacy, the white supremacists thrive off of confusion. Confusion is an absolute must. If you're going to be a white supremacist, you must confuse your victims. Otherwise, you can't control them over a long period of time.
Now, if someone asked you to give your personal understanding of what the term liberal means in politics or whatever, what would you say?
I would say I don't use the terms, because I don't. I don't use the terms liberal and conservative myself. And the way that I direct people to handle it when some other people do it is just the way that I just outlined. Ask the person. Stop them right there if you're on a TV interview or just in a conference somewhere or in a school where words are tossed around in a college and whatnot on a college campus, and a person stands up and says, well, I take the conservative view on that. You say, wait a minute, hold it. What does that mean? What does that mean? First of all, what is a conservative? A conservative, I guess, is something you're trying to conserve. What is it you're trying to conserve? Because everybody can be said to be a person who is conservative. You're trying to conserve or preserve the food in your refrigerator. I mean, what is a person talking about? You have to break it down, and break it down in each area of activity. If you're a conservative when it comes to sexual matters, what does that mean? What do you actually do that makes you different from everybody else when it comes to sex as a conservative? And what do you advocate that everybody does? That nobody does anything different. If you're going to be a conservative, a true conservative in the area of sex. What about religion? If you're going to be conservative in religion, what is it you're trying to conserve in religion? You're trying to conserve, preserve, keep, whatever terms you want to use. Those are terms I'm throwing in there, which I shouldn't do. I should let the person answer. What like in a court of law. What do you mean, sir? What do you mean, ma'am, when you say you're conservative in the area of labor? Conservative in the area of politics, meaning the way you interact with people, which is basic politics according to codified language. Politics is how you interact with people each and every day. You're conservative or you're a liberal. How are you going to interact with a person? Are you going to say good morning to them on the elevator or what? That's politics. Anytime you interact with any person, that is basic politics according to codified logic. Because that's what my books are about. Following logic. Try to follow logic every minute of every day, meaning cause and effect, and explaining everything that you're doing and why you're doing it, and how you plan to do whatever it is you're going to do.
Mm-hmm.
That's what, and that way you get what? Theoretically, you'll get understanding.
Well, the reason I'm bringing this up is because we are about to get hit very heavily with these political terms. I mean, we're about to see it ramped up. It's been ramped up somewhat, but now it's really getting ready to get ramped up with Santorum stepping out. And now you've got this conservative side, you got this liberal side, and in between you hear tweaks of race, this race thing being escalated as a result. And we saw, for example, this past Saturday, what happened in Tulsa, Oklahoma. And we're going to get to that, so I want everybody to stay right there as we begin to go into what happened in Tulsa, Oklahoma, coming up next on TalkTainmentRadio.com.
The United Independent Compensatory Code System concept by Neely Fuller is considered as one of the substantial and basic books for understanding and effectively countering racism. Neely Fuller will turn upside down everything you've heard and everything you think you know about racism and how it works. Call area code 202-484-5461. 202-484-5461. President Obama was quoted saying, brothers should pull their pants up. But where do you get real solutions to help you with the hip-hop generation? Do what thousands of parents, teachers, social workers, and foster parents have already done. Get the book, Style Over Substance, a critical analysis of an African-American teenage subculture by Ron Mills and Alan Huff. 30 years of research and hands-on work will put answers and practical solutions at your fingertips. So go out and get the book, Style Over Substance, a critical analysis of an African-American teenage subculture by Ron Mills and Alan Huff.
Hey there, my name is Athena, and I have some exciting news I would like to share with you about our ministry. And yes, it's happening right here in the city of Columbus at Kingdom Power Baptist Church, where you're cordially invited to attend our worship service. Are you looking for a ministry where you can grow? Do you desire to be a part of a church family where you're not just a number? Do you yearn to exercise your spiritual gifts in the body of Christ? Whether you are a seeker or steep in the faith, Kingdom Power is for you. We are currently worshiping every Sunday at 1980 West Broad Street, the ODOT Building Auditorium. Worship begins at 11:30 a.m. Our pastor is the Reverend Quentin Lamar Respress I. Come on, in anticipation of a blessing and a breakthrough. It's happening at 1980 West Broad Street, the ODOT Building Auditorium. At 11:30 a.m., 1980 West Broad Street, the ODOT Building Auditorium. Worship begins at 11:30 a.m.
Do you need to advertise your business or product? What better way to reach your audience than with the oldest form of media that can't be turned off, outdoor advertising. Matrix Media Services specializes in getting your message seen on billboards, on buses, on movie screens, and more. Need assistance with market research or help developing your media strategy? Talk to the experts at Matrix Media Services who will help you cut through the clutter. Call us at 1-800-589-6674 or visit www.matrixmediaservices.com.
For some things, it's okay to sponge off your parents. The occasional free home-cooked meal? Sponge away. But when it comes to car insurance, the time comes to do a big, grown-up thing. Give your parents a break and get car insurance in your own name. When you're ready for your own insurance, go to StateFarm.com and find a State Farm agent. A State Farm agent will set you up with a policy that meets your needs and your budget. So get a State Farm agent. There's no better way to assert your independence.
Increase CDC presents the 8th Annual Micro Entrepreneur Awards. This signature event recognizes outstanding Central Ohio entrepreneurs. You can show your support by attending on April 19th at Columbus Christian Center Church, 2300 North Cassidy Avenue. For more information or to promote your company at the event, call Increase CDC at 614-476-1758 or visit www.increasecdc.org.
Are there hidden sex words that impact your brain? Are there secret images and symbols that manipulate and control your child's mind and behavior? Why are so many youth unable to resist the destructive sexual messages beamed into their brain without them knowing they are being manipulated? Do you want answers? Get the new book, Sex Code War by Kahari and O'Hara, coming soon.
I think I'm entitled. You want answers? I want the truth! You can't handle the truth!
We've got the power.
Justice is better than racism.
All I do know is that there has been 3 people killed. Others have been shot in 4 different incidents, like you said. And it appears at this time that we have a person, a white individual, that has started going around and taking shots at black people.
And is this person still on the run, as far as you know?
Absolutely. They have not captured him at this point. I have talked to the mayor as well as the chief of police, and they have assured me that they have officers, many officers working on this 24 hours, 7 days. You know, they're going to do it as long as it takes until they bring this person to justice.
And what can you tell us about the victims? We understand, obviously, as you said, that they were all African American. Did they know each other? What age were they?
No, the ages range from I think in the 50s.
This is the Compensatory Concept with Mr. Neely Fuller. I'm Brother Kahari. Joining me, of course, live every week at this same time is Mr. Neely Fuller at 10 o'clock on Wednesdays. You can also get Mr. Fuller by going to talktainmentradio.com. Click on programs, and then it takes you to the Compensatory Concept page, and then you can get the podcast. Podcasts are simply rebroadcast of a show by date and by substance matter that you may have missed. Mr. Fuller, I just played a segment from the report on what happened in Tulsa, Oklahoma, just recently. And I believe most of it came out sometime last week, where 2 white guys went around Tulsa, Oklahoma, shooting any black person they saw. 3, I believe 3 died, 2 were injured or something. I've got to get the specifics of it, but it's something close to this. 3 dead, we know that. All of them black. Some say this might be in response to what's happening in Florida. Some say that this is the growing peace that could ignite a racial warfare or something like that in the country or in this area of the world. Don't know what started this, what's behind it. Is there more to it? Is it just random, just people acting crazy, or what? It does remind us of what has happened historically in this area of the world for many years. But it's called a hate crime. So there's another term that we're using, and nobody's asked to define what do you mean by hate crime, and how is that different from white guys who target black people and shoot and kill. I mean, are lynchings hate crimes? Is everything getting codified under this hate crime thing, and somehow the racial element gets minimized? I just don't know. But I want to get your take on this Tulsa, on what is alleged to be this Tulsa, Oklahoma. In fact, I believe they arrested him. So I want to get your take on how you view what happened in Tulsa, Oklahoma, since it's from the area that you probably know a lot about. Mr. Fuller.
Well, it's the same anywhere in the world. It's just the same, regardless of the scenario. You're just talking about a system of racism. And a system of racism, as long as you have it, as long as you have the system of white supremacy being the dominant political and religious force on this planet, everything that's in the news now that's being played up is going to keep repeating itself. That's a given. We just have to settle in on that one until we figure out how black people, non-white people of this planet, and the white people of this planet are going to interact with each other on a daily basis, right down to the finest interaction. I mean, every situation has got to be codified. That's the only way to do it. We have to orchestrate it. How do we interact? How do we talk to each other? What do we do with each other? What is it we don't do with each other? All of these interactions have to be very specific so we can get a little training in coming up with what we ultimately will call, like I coined the term for it, the quality relationship. I put that in capital letters so that we can ultimately become the type of people that should inhabit this wonderful planet that we have all been given. Because as long as we're doing things on the basis of what race we are, doing all the business on the basis of color, which the system of white supremacy is, a system of white supremacy has set that up. That's the white people, those white people who thought of the idea that everything should be done on the basis of what color somebody is. Everything. That's how the system of white supremacy came into being. We're going to have all of these things keep happening over and over again. Doesn't make any difference how many demonstrations we have. Doesn't make any difference how many conferences we have. Doesn't make any difference just how many parades we have, marching down the street, poking holes in the air with our fingers, as it says in the movie Shane. It's going to continue to happen until we get rid of this tacky, trashy, and terroristic, tragic arrangement. This is how I explain it in the books. Tacky, trashy, and are terroristic. This is the way the people of this planet interact with each other all day long because of the system of white supremacy. All relationships between people, whether they're white or non-white, all day long, if you just notice the way people interact with each other. For one thing, most of it is hypocritical. People will not tell themselves or each other the truth about what is going on a day-to-day basis, on the job or any place else. Everybody's walking around pretending that we have a world that we don't have. It's just not so.
Well, Mr. Fuller, we do have an interaction relationship system. You said how we're going to interact. We are interacting on a day-to-day basis. That's why I go to the bank, I go to the grocery stores, I go to the malls, I go to a job, I work on a project, I go to a social event, etc. I go to a sporting event, etc. So there is an interaction system already set up. And it seems in most cases, Mr. Fuller, by all evidence, to be peaceful. Most black and white people, when they interact with each other, they're not fighting each other. They're not shooting each other. They're not killing each other. There seems to be a polite relationship. So I don't understand. What more could you want, Mr. Fuller?
It's like how this program starts off, for the most part, when we have this program called the compensatory concept. It starts off with an overview using the Godfather movie as a format.
Correct.
That's exactly how the world is being run. That is why that is played out. And the white supremacist is within the context of the system of white supremacy. Oh, yeah, everybody's sitting around a big table being polite to one another. Everybody's interacting with one another in a business-like manner. trying to resolve their differences.
Mm-hmm.
That's what people are doing. And they're talking back and forth, trying to say what they are going to do and how the world should be run.
Mm-hmm.
And they come to the conclusion it should be run on the basis of racism, because that's really what is going on in the Godfather format. They're saying we can settle our differences by coming up with a way to make money and be comfortable in our skin and in our comings and goings, and looking out for the future of our families and our children and future generations by dumping on the dark people of the world. Let them lose their souls. They're nothing but animals anyway. So the result of that is you have the 3 T's, the tragic arrangement, I call it. Tacky, trashy, and terroristic. It doesn't get any better than tacky. People interact with each other. Black people interact with each other. If we tell the truth about it, all day long, in a very tacky fashion. I mean, the little jokes and jives that
now, what does
give
tacky?
each other
Now, you use this word tacky. What does that mean?
It means without any deep depth of feeling or even compassion or even a helpful position that we take with each other. And we get this from the white supremacists.
Meaning we have
because
sloppy interactions.
Sir?
We have sloppy interactions with
Very
each other.
sloppy. Very sloppy. The way we talk to each other is just sloppy. It's almost best that we don't even say anything at all. I mean, just the way that we and we glorify it. We actually act like this is the way we should act because we don't have any standard for it. We've never established a standard for interacting with each other, except that sloppy standard. Got to say something halfway derogatory or make little snide remarks. I mean, even when we are being friendly and high-fiving and all that, I mean, that's tacky. All of it is tacky, just as tacky as it can be. The hugs that we give each other, that's tacky. Someone even wrote an article in the Washington Post just a couple of days ago, said, where's all this hugging come from? I mean, it's insincere, just like in the movie The Godfather or in the TV series, The Sopranos. They greet each other every day, hugging. Everybody's hugging.
Hugging and kissing.
And then 15 minutes later, they're shooting those 9mm at each other.
Mm-hmm.
They even hug each other when they get ready to start shooting.
Mm-hmm.
And black people have picked up that type of nonsense. I mean, it is absolutely horrendous the way our minds work. It's grotesque. Black people at their best are grotesque under this system of racism. And then we interact with white people in a tacky fashion. And if you try to improve on the tackiness, all that little shadow boxing we do with each other, quote, unquote, on jobs and everything else all day long, if we try to improve on the tackiness, then come party time, maybe, I mean, we're going to have an office party or something like that. Christmas time, you're going to have a party. Then it becomes what? The second T. It becomes trashy. Can't do anything without it being trashy. The jokes that we tell are trashy. Shouldn't even tell jokes.
All right, so in order to remove tacky and trashy, and what was the third one?
Third one is terroristic.
All right.
If you try to improve on the trashiness, it's going to get terroristic. That's a guarantee. You go from tacky to trashy to terroristic, and then back again to the tacky.
So what you're saying is
that
the relationship is if it comes out what the Godfather scene says, they're animals anyway, so let them lose their soul. So you treat the people as if they were a disposable product or animals. Is that what you're telling me?
And the people treat each other that way.
That same way.
Yes, just like they do in if you've seen parts of the series of The Sopranos, it's the same format. It's the format of some people have compared it to the Roman Empire. I mean, you do a lot of things that you build up this and fine buildings and waterfalls and all like that and aqueducts and excellent this and excellent that, castles, the emperor and all that, and fine clothing, And then, but you look at the way the people interact with each other, it's nothing but intrigue. It's nothing but backstabbing, gossip, plotting to poison each other, plotting to go to war, always glorifying war. And this is what we do. We follow that format. And the white supremacist system is just another way of following that format. That's all it is, but it's done on the basis of color. It's the old imperial, royalistic system put on a color basis.
Mr. Fuller, stay right there. This is a great opportunity to get professional financial insights. Is this the right time to start a business? Saving money when you can make ends meet now. What can you do right now to improve your personal and family finances? Bring your questions to Summit Traces Healthcare Center, Thursday, April 26th at 12 noon to 2 p.m. in Columbus, Ohio. This event is free. Lunch is provided, and you can get more information by calling 614-857-1811 or email AAMWW2012@gmail.com. Stay right there. More to come on The Compensatory Concept with Mr. Neely Fuller Jr.
Hey there, my name is Athena, and I have some exciting news I would like to share with you about our ministry. And yes, it's happening right here in the city of Columbus at Kingdom Power Baptist Church, where you're cordially invited to attend our worship service. Are you looking for a ministry where you can grow? Do you desire to be a part of a church family where you're not just a number? Do you yearn to exercise your spiritual gifts in the body of Christ? Whether you are a seeker or steep in the faith, Kingdom Power is for you. We are currently worshiping every Sunday at 1980 West Broad Street, the ODOT Building Auditorium. Worship begins at 11:30 a.m. Our pastor is the Reverend Quentin Lamar Respress I. Come on, in anticipation of a blessing and a breakthrough. It's happening at 1980 West Broad Street, the ODOT Building Auditorium at 11:30 a.m. 1980 West Broad Street, the ODOT Building Auditorium. Worship begins at 11:30 a.m.
What's the latest in eye couture? Intense shadow blast from CoverGirl. The news? It's eyeshadow with primer built in, so it lasts. Rich color that's fade-proof, waterproof, totally ignore-proof. Oh yes! With Intense Shadow Blast, eye couture is ready to wear for hours. And here's the tip. To make an even bigger statement, wear with Lash Blast Fusion Mascara. Lash Blast and Intense Shadow Blast from Easy Breezy Beautiful CoverGirl.
Increase CDC presents the 8th Annual Micro Entrepreneur Awards. This signature event recognizes outstanding Central Ohio entrepreneurs. You can show your support by attending on April 19th at Columbus Christian Center Church, 2300 North Cassidy Avenue. For more information or to promote your company at the event, call Increase CDC at 614-476-1758 or visit www.increasecdc.org.
Is it bad?
Well, it's not good.
What is it?
I'm afraid your husband has a scratchy throat. Probably from seasonal allergies or just talking too much.
My God, no! No! Not the irritated throat! We have tennis this afternoon. Why now?
I'm so sorry.
This over-dramatization brought to you by surprisingly versatile Halls Cough Drops. Great for any time your throat needs a little soothing relief. Halls, for your throat. No cold required. Use as directed.
The United Independent Compensatory Code System Concept by Neely Fuller is considered as one of the substantial and basic books for understanding and effectively countering racism. Neely Fuller will turn upside down everything you've heard and everything you think you know about racism and how it works. Call area code 202-484-5461. 202-484-5461.
The greatest trick the devil ever pulled was convincing the world he didn't exist.
We've got the power.
Justice is better than racism.
This is The Compensatory Concept with Mr. Neely Fuller Jr. Heard exclusively on TalkTainmentRadio.com. Radio, the way it should be heard, the world's greatest radio. I'm Brother Kahari. You can hear Mr. Fuller also if you miss him on Wednesdays at 10 a.m. You can go to TalkTainmentRadio.com. Now that's Talktainment Radio. You spell Talktainment by taking, it's the same word as entertainment. What we did is that we took the E-N-T-E-R, we took enter out of the word, and we put talk in front of tainment. Now, we looked up, tried to figure out what the word tainment meant, and we never could figure that out. But at any rate, we put talktainment, so it's talktainment, T-A-L-K, and then tainment, T-A-I-N-M-E-N-T, talktainmentradio.com. And then you look for programs. You'll see, and then you go to the compensatory concept page. And then you can stroll and see the podcast, or what is called rebroadcast, or broadcasts that have already been done, shows that you might have missed by subject title and date, and then you can hear the shows that you want to hear. Just in case you didn't catch Mr. Fuller live. But you can also get Mr. Fuller. He has 2 magnificent classic works out that challenge the way we think and the way we do business. Mr. Fuller, briefly, could you just tell us one more time how to get your 2 works? Mr. Fuller.
Yes, you can get it through computer, and that is you punch in the word tiny, T-I-N-Y, .cc/forward, and the word Fuller in capital letters. Again, that's the word tiny, T-I-N-Y, .cc/forward, and the word Fuller in capital letters. With some computers, you might have to leave out the slash.
Right. It just depends on what application you have.
Yes.
Mr. Fuller, let's, in this segment of the compensatory concept, I'm going to turn to you because I think I'm going to start doing this. In the first 2/3, we're going to try to, deal with what's breaking and put that in context. But in the last segment of compensatory concept, I want to turn to you because I know you're always working on something, and there's something that you want to present to us. So, Mr. Fuller, I'll turn it to you. What is it this past week or last week that stuck out to you as something that you want to discuss and begin to open up so that people can get a better understanding? Mr. Fuller.
Well, with the focus being on the shootings of black people, which happens every day, by the way, all over the world, black people are being shot, either by white people, but for the most part by other black people, whom the white supremacists have put guns in their hands for the purpose of black people shooting each other. The 9mm is almost tailored. The 9mm and the AK-47 bullet, those 2 bullets are almost tailored for black people to decimate the populations or tailor the populations of black people everywhere, all over the world, 24/7. The 9mm was one of the favorite submachine gun and pistol cartridges of the Nazis, of course, in World War II. And, of course, the AK-47 came out of Russia during World War II, and now it's become the standard rifle, semi-automatic rifle, to be used by a lot of 16-year-olds running up and down the roads in Uganda, in the Congo, in Somalia, in wherever you find dark-skinned people. You'll find sophisticated weaponry like the AK-47 semi-automatic rifle, assault gun, whatever you might call it. And it fires a number of bullets real fast and with great effectiveness in killing people. That's what they are designed to do. They are designed to kill people, not designed to go hunting for food or something like that. They are designed to kill people, and they're very plentiful all over the world. And black people, when they were given drugs in this area of the world, they were given the 9mm pistol right along with it. So that has become fashionable some time ago, for about 30 years now, for a black person to walk around with a 9mm pistol looking for another black person to kill. And, of course, after he or she does it, then they have to outrun sometimes white men or women who will chase them down and shoot them with a 9mm pistol. The 9mm is designed to eliminate non-white people, because these are the people who are mostly being eliminated on the planet by that pistol cartridge. Adolf Hitler would be proud. His work is being carried on, and black people are helping to do it. So much for that. Heil Hitler. Decimate the dark people. They're nothing but animals anyway. Cut down their populations. If you don't do it with an AK-47, do it with a 9mm. Oh, you're proud to have one in your belt, in your pants. You're on the subway looking around at people, saying, hey, if anybody looks at me cross-eyed, I can put a bullet in his brain and get off at the next stop and run up the escalator and down the street. And that's what life is all about. And that's what I'm looking forward to. There's somebody out there right now, even as I speak, that is their life plan. They don't have a plan beyond that. They intend to do that till they can't do it anymore, until finally 4 or 5 9mm slugs catches up with them in the back of the head as they run, or in the body. This is what they're looking forward to. So what's the remedy for this? You figure out the origin of all of it, which is the system of white supremacy, and then each and every day, every person on this planet, in order that we can get a quality relationship and eventually become universal man and universal woman rather than white supremacists and their victims, because that's all we got now. We don't have anything else on this planet except white supremacists and their victims. They are the feature on the stage. We have other people with other ideas and all like that, but they are also ran. They don't rate. All the people who are going around talking about their religions and all like that, it doesn't matter at all in the system of white supremacy, not at all. Because what people actually do is practice white supremacy or go along with it. And it's an evil system because it's designed to mistreat people based on color. This is what people are doing all over the planet, each and every day. They don't think that that's what they're doing, but that's exactly what they're doing. We're running a worldwide system of mistreatment and glorifying it, having parades about it. Just look at the parades that we have, or when we have what you call holidays and all like that. Bombs bursting in air. We sing songs about things like that. Most statues are made to celebrate people who are carrying swords or guns.
Who've killed other people, yes.
People who kill people.
Yeah, masses of people.
Yes. And we glorify this and have so-called holidays about it. And we can't have a parade without having somebody, marching with a gun. It's all about guns. Victory parades. About bragging about people that we have killed. That's what you get in the system of white supremacy. And in a lot of systems that came before that. That system of royalism, holier than thou. That I have a right to be here on earth, but you don't have a right to be here. I'm supposed to be looking at your dead body, and therefore I can feel great about myself. That type of philosophy has permeated everything. And under the system of white supremacy, it's been perfected. So we have to replace this system with a better system, which would be justice, guaranteeing that no person is mistreated and guaranteeing that the person that needs help the most gets the most help. We can get just as much mileage of glory out of that than we do this tragic arrangement of tackiness, trashiness, and terrorism that we have worldwide, even as we speak.
Now, we talked about the first 2 T's. What, when you said, say it again, you said tackiness?
Tacky. It doesn't get any better. The way people interact with each other, even when we think that we are doing our very best, is really tacky.
Okay, we got tacky, and the
It's
second
nowhere close to what it ought to be.
All right, and then the other one is
Trashy.
all right.
Anytime we try to improve on the tackiness, you can just listen to people's conversation. It becomes trashy. We start telling vulgar jokes and stuff like that, or start belittling someone.
An uneasy
putting someone
alliance.
down.
An uneasy alliance is what you're talking about.
Yes, that's what I mean by tacky, and then
Yeah.
it starts getting trashy once you try to improve on the tackiness.
Now,
All
what
right?
should let's maybe the key is to, in order to evaluate this, and I want to do this before I get to terrorism because I kind of think I know what you mean by that. What should the relationships be between black and white people on the planet if we had justice? What would they look like? What would it look like day to day?
We don't really know because we've never had it, and we don't have any model to go by.
Okay,
Studying
well, give me
history won't cut it.
Well, in order to say something is tacky, Mr. Fuller, you have to have some way of evaluating what is not tacky. So,
we just know.
So what is a non-trashy relationship? What is a non-tacky relationship? What is a non-terrorist relationship?
I have to say it again. We have nothing to go by. We don't. There's no guide whatsoever in the history books that we can use.
So how
The
do we know
history
it's
books,
tacky? How do we know it's trashy then?
Because it has a non-constructive result. People are always harmed by the way that we interact with each other for the most part. Every now and then, like when an ambulance comes and picks up someone who's been hit by a car, and you see other people jumping out of their cars running over to help, you have a brief moment where you have a little bit of the way things ought to be, which is helping the person that needs help the most. But it wears off very fast because then we get into a bragging mode, even about what we did. Even when we say, well, I would do that for anybody. That's just a subtle way of bragging within the system that we have. See, nothing is genuine. We're all phony. The white supremacist system demands that
Okay, let me
everybody be phony.
rephrase it. Let me rephrase it.
Our economics is phony.
Okay, I got you, Ms. Fuller. Let me rephrase this thing a little bit. Then in order to get a constructive result, what should that relationship look like?
The relationship, we can start toward finding out what it would be like. Then we would only know.
In what way? In what way would we do this between black and white people?
The best we can do is minimize conflict. That's the first thing.
Mm-hmm.
And you minimize conflict by doing what? Minimizing all unnecessary and non-constructive contact. Now, black people can start doing that with each other because black people are great when it comes to contacting each other.
What about black and
crowd?
What about black and white people?
Same thing. You minimize all contacts except when you can predict, almost with razor-sharp precision, that your contact is going to have a constructive result. In fact, you plan it. Before you even speak to someone, you try to figure out, what is it that I can say that would be helpful, that would be constructive? And if you can't think of anything to say that is helpful, that is constructive, then try to get as much distance between you and the other person as possible so that you don't go into that damage thing.
Now, a constructive result is a result that does what?
A result that's not non-constructive. I mean, it gets around anything that's non-constructive. We know what that is. Even a
no, Mr. Fuller. Now,
I'll put it this way.
You're the first person that won't let that slide.
Okay,
so
well,
come on.
Let me say this. You know when you fall off a building, fall off of a scaffold or something and hit your head, that's non-constructive. That's a non-constructive result. You know when you're in pain, that's non-constructive. You know when someone comes and relieves your pain, that is constructive. That's the only thing you can go by. Just, since we're supposed to be, we've been said to be animals anyway, animals understand.
Is it possible?
Now, animals don't have a frame of reference from the past. Animals don't study the history of the world. They don't know about the moon and the stars and all like that.
Is it possible to develop standards for constructive results, Mr. Fuller? Is that possible? Is that what we should be working on?
Yes, you alleviate pain. You alleviate anything that's harmful. You don't set fire to somebody's house. Somebody goes out and builds some type of shelter, and then you come and kick it down. You know that that's not constructive. That's what you go by. Just cause and effect. Cause and effect. You can't go by any philosophy of right and wrong, because those standards have not been set. We don't have a standard for right and wrong. So you do it all mechanically. Everything is mechanical until we learn how to use our souls, you might say.
So then the thing that we ought to be doing, we got about 20 seconds. The thing we ought to be doing is working on establishing standards for constructive activity and constructive result. Is that correct?
Yes, and you can use those 4 things that I've outlined in other programs, and that is for the first steps toward a quality relationship.
Okay.
First of all, you want to know
Mr.
what
Fuller,
is it.
we run up against the clock.
Run up against the clock.
But thank you so much. We will continue this dialogue. I appreciate you always. Thank you.
Thank you again.
Thanks for listening to The Compensatory Concept with Mr. Neely Fuller, heard exclusively on TalkTainmentRadio.com. The world